Tonight we'll trace the arc, the rise, the detour, and the quiet second act of Robbie Dupree. Robbie Dupree, born Robert Dupuis on December 23, 1946 in Brooklyn, cut his teeth singing on street corners and studying the phrasing of R&B greats like Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke. That love of supple melody and pocket-tight groove never left his writing or voice. By the late 70s, he'd signed with Elektra Records, teaming with producer-writers Peter Bunetta and Rick Chudikoff. Their first statement was bold, "Steal Away," recorded in 1979 and released in April 1980, a sleek slice of soft rock built on syncopated keys, airy guitars, and Robbie's featherlight tenor. It broke big, top 10 pop, top 5 adult contemporary, and instantly introduced him to millions. He followed fast with Hot Rod Hearts, another radio charmer that peaked at number 15 in October 1980, 2 hits off a debut album. In any era, that's a statement. Success brought accolades. In 1981, Dupree earned a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist, the industry's way of saying, "This guy's for real." He lost to fellow smooth-sailing hitmaker Christopher Cross, but the nod cemented his status in the class of '80. It also brought scrutiny. From the jump, critics noticed how "Steal Away" echoed the rhythm and shimmer of the Doobie Brothers' What a Fool Believes. The Washington Post reported that Michael McDonald's publishers even made claims regarding the similarity, though McDonald himself stayed publicly above the fray. Whether you hear homage, influence, or coincidence, the conversation became part of the song's lore. So, what happened next? Dupree's second album, Street Corner Heroes, 1981, spun off Brooklyn Girls, which reached 54 on the Hot 100, a respectable showing, but not the breakout of his first singles. Then the winds shifted. In a later interview, Robbie recalled that Elektra dropped him amid label and radio pivots toward new wave and harder rock. He wasn't alone. Singer-songwriters across the dial felt the floor move under them as MTV aesthetics and format fragmentation reshaped the business. For Dupree, the result was fewer mainstream shots, even as the voice and craft remained. Here's the twist you might not know. In 1987, with the pop machine focused elsewhere, Dupree stepped into a very different spotlight. WWF's Pile Driver, the wrestling album 2. He cut Girls in Cars, a gleaming tongue-in-cheek track, later used as the entrance theme for Strikeforce, Tito Santana and Rick Martel. It's kitschy, catchy, and proof that the man could still write a hook. He also kept busy off the charts, touring, collaborating, and working behind the scenes. In the early 90s, he helped nudge classic rockers Orleans toward a Japanese live release after tapping into demand overseas, another sign that his instincts for audience and opportunity stayed sharp even when U.S. pop radio moved on. If you only track Billboard peaks, you might think the story ends there. It doesn't. Dupree kept making records, from Carried Away, 1989, to Walking on Water, 1993, Smoke and Mirrors, 1995, and later projects that leaned into his strengths, warm grooves, romantic themes, and ultra-smooth delivery. In 2010, he signed with Spectra Records and released Time and Tide with keyboard ace David Sancious. That May, Jimmy Fallon, an unabashed yacht rock superfan, invited Dupree to perform on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, putting him back on national TV with the Roots behind him. Then came the cultural tailwind, the internet's embrace of yacht rock. Suddenly, the very textures that once felt passé were cool again. Dupree rode that revival on multi-artist bills, Sail Rock in 2013 with Christopher Cross, Player, Firefall, and more, and festival-style yacht events that proved there's an enduring appetite for silky West Coast pop sung by the folks who made it, and his signature tunes kept finding new ears. Steal Away popped up in TV shows like Better Call Saul, 2017, sliding perfectly into scenes that needed a hit of glossy longing. That's the mark of a song with legs. He broke big, got caught in a rapidly changing industry, and then built a sustainable, under-the-radar career, touring, recording, licensing, and staying connected to fans who never stopped loving that sound. If you're looking for him right now, there aren't any 2025 tour dates on the calendar as of today. Sites that track artists show no upcoming shows. But his official site sells remastered albums, and the music continues to circulate, get streamed, and soundtrack new memories, just like it did the first time. First, the obvious. A great pop single is forever. Steal Away and Hot Rod Hearts are masterclass examples of economy and feel, tight rhythm parts, an earworm melodic lift, and a voice that never oversings. They capture a thing many artists chase and few bottle. Second, Dupree's story reminds us that careers aren't only measured by chart stats. The industry's tides can be ruthless. Labels shift strategies, formats flip, and even promising artists get sidelined. But the ability to adapt, to find different stages, different collaborators, different revenue streams, is its kind of success. Robbie did that. He said as much himself. The label moved on, the business pivoted, and he kept going anyway. Finally, there's cultural resonance. The yacht rock renaissance didn't just revive old hits, it reframed them. It let a new generation hear what was always there: craft, musicianship, and an easy sophistication. And when a song like Steal Away still turns heads in a prestige TV episode nearly 4 decades after release, it's proof that tastefully made music ages well. So what happened to Robbie Dupree? He sailed in on a perfect breeze, hit a patch of industry weather, and then charted his course, steady, resilient, and still unmistakably smooth. If you cue up Steal Away tonight, you'll hear why the moment lasted, and why, in its quiet way, it never really ended. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, drop your favorite Robbie track in the comments. Steal Away or Hot Rod Hearts? Or are you a deep-cut Brooklyn Girls person?
But now they're out, they're online, they're on my website. For information about what I'm doing and what's going on in old music and new music, go to RobbieDupree.com. And that's my deal.